Hi guys, I'm Esther and welcome to our tips and tricks guide to Disneyland Paris. My daughter Alice and I went to Disneyland Paris in December for 2 nights and we stayed at the Hotel Cheyenne. So there are a number of different ways you can travel from the UK to Disneyland Paris. You could fly, you could take the ferry and drive, or you could take the Eurostar, which is the one we preferred to do. So we took the Eurostar from St Pancras in London directly to Paris Gare du Nord, where we had to change and get the REN line over to Disneyland Paris. So we were a little bit nervous about that because we've never done that before, but it was incredibly easy. To get from Paris du Nord to Disneyland Paris, it took around 40 minutes. And it was so easy to do. I would highly recommend doing it that way if you can't get a direct train. So that was a lot easier than what we were expecting. As we arrived at Disneyland Paris, we got the shuttle bus from the station directly to our hotel, which we were staying at the Hotel Cheyenne, and the journey took around 2 to 3 minutes. It was really quick. So we were really happy about that. And you could walk, it takes about 15 minutes I believe, but we preferred to get the bus. We loved staying at this hotel. The theming was absolutely incredible. It was Toy Story, Wild West, and there were lots of Woody, Jessie themed items around, and it was really lovely. We really enjoyed staying there. Also at the Hotel Cheyenne, they have a Starbucks on site, so that was really useful because in the mornings we didn't book for breakfast anywhere, so we just popped in there, got a hot chocolate and also like a pastry to take with us to the parks, and then on an evening when we came back from the parks we would have a nice hot drink before we went to bed. Included in our Disney hotel stay were our park tickets, and you can use them to go to the Disneyland park and also the Walt Disney Studios park, which you are able to park hop between the two. I believe that if you book your tickets separately and you're not staying on site, that you have to pre-book which day you want to go to each park. You can't park hop between the two. In Disneyland Paris they have the Premier Access, and that is a prepaid fast pass system that you can use to on any of the rides, where you can just turn up, you don't have to book beforehand, and you just join the queue in the fast pass lane and you can just get on the rides as soon as the queue moves. They also have an individual service where you can pre-book each ride, and that ranges from between €7 to €15. We used the Disability Access service while we were there, and we found it really useful to use, and it was so user friendly. It was really easy. So 30 days prior to departure I sent the documentation off via the app, and also I sent a picture via the app, and then when we arrived at Disneyland Paris we were given a reservation number to take to the guest relations, and they gave us a pass that we could use around the parks. There is a designated access entrance to each of the attractions which is signposted, and it's usually the exit to each of the rides, and you can just go in there and wait, show them your pass, wait, and then you get onto the ride. They do ask if they want you to stop the rides for you so that you'll be able to get it on and off if need be. So, and they're really friendly and really helpful. There is also a designated area for the Disability Access service so that you could be able to watch the parade or the show, and it isn't so congested, and there's a few benches there so you can sit down if you need to. We found it really helpful to be able to do that. I would advise that you would go to the area about 30 minutes before the show or the fireworks or the parade was about to start, because it does get filled up pretty quickly, and then you can just wait and relax and wait for the show or the parade. Whilst using the Disability Access service, we found the cast members incredibly helpful, and they were really polite and they were really discreet about things, so they were really helpful. Now I'm going to talk to you about the shows we saw. We saw Let's Sing Christmas show, which was in Tomorrowland in the Disneyland park, and we just turned up about 30 minutes beforehand so we could get a seat, and we loved it. There was Christmas songs and they were singing, there was lots of characters. It was so good. There was a little sing-along too, so it was really nice. We really enjoyed that one. So we also saw the Mickey and the Magician show, and that was in the Walt Disney Studios park. And that one I would advise that you pre-book for because it was packed. So we pre-booked our tickets for this and it cost around £13 per person, and I highly recommend that you pre-book before you go because it was packed. We were checking the app throughout the day just to check on times and stuff to see if it was worth pre-booking, and it was completely full each time we checked on there. We really enjoyed this show. It was full of characters, full of magic. Oh, it was incredible. We really loved it. So my recommendation is if you really want to see this show, you would need to pre-book on the app. So now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about dining. So if you're staying at a Disneyland Paris hotel, then you can order the Disney dining plan. It comes in 3 options. So option 1 is you can just have breakfast. Option 2 is half board, which is breakfast, lunch or dinner. And also there is option 3, which is the full board, which is breakfast, lunch and dinner. We unfortunately this time didn't book our dining plan at all. We paid for it throughout our trip and we found that it was very expensive to do that this way. I think in the future, if we go again, when we go again, we will pre-book our dining plan so that we know that all of our costs of food will be prepaid for, unless you want snacks. But I think that's what we're going to do next time we go, because we went to some of the really nice restaurants there, but they were very expensive. So we had the Plaza Gardens, and that is a character dining dinner, and it was really lovely. I highly do recommend that one. It is a buffet style and the food was beautiful. It was really nice. You did get a lot of character interactions, so we met Mickey, Goofy, Minnie, Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh, Captain Hook, and they kept coming round, so we got lots of time to spend with them and talk with them. So that was really good. So if that's something you're interested in, I would highly recommend pre-booking that. When it comes to pre-booking, if you're staying on site, you can pre-book restaurants a year out from your stay. But if you're not staying on site, then you can book your dining 60 days out. I would recommend check that as soon as the dining comes out, because it gets pretty booked up pretty quickly. Another place we ate is Bistro de Chez Remy, and we really enjoyed this restaurant too. So it is a set menu and you can have starter and a main course, or you can have starter, main course and a dinner. We had the starter and main course and we were really full after that, and we had the steak, which was absolutely delicious. We loved the theming of the restaurant, where you are supposedly shrank down to being a rat. As you walk across a line in the restaurant, you shrink down to like a rat size, and all the tables and chairs are like bottle tops, and there's giant plates everywhere and giant cutlery, and we loved it. It was really fun eating there. That's another one I would highly recommend pre-booking for, because when we were waiting there was lots of people saying, can we have a reservation, and they turned a lot of people away. So I would highly recommend pre-booking at your either year out or your 60 days. I know a year out seems a long time, but it'll come around pretty quick. So if you've watched our channel before, you will see that we went to Walt Disney World also in August, if you've seen any of our other videos. So we were thinking about how we would compare the two. It's really difficult to compare between the two resorts. I would say that Disneyland Paris is a lot smaller and a lot easier to get around, because Walt Disney World was so big that we had to take buses. We had to allow for an hour to get to places, park up from one park to another. We have to leave like an hour, and we found it quite exhausting planning and working out where we had to go and what we had to do. However, Disneyland Paris is really relaxed, and we found it so much easier to go to Disneyland Paris because you could just walk from one park to the other. They're literally 10-minute walk between the two. It's easy to get into one park and then the other, because once you go through the security in the park, then you can just walk from one to the other. We also found we didn't have to do as much planning in that park, so we really enjoyed going to Disneyland Paris. So guys, we hope you found this guide useful, and if you have any questions for us, just pop them in the comments below and we'll be happy to answer them. And if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.